We worked really hard to put this show on for you guys. It's one of Shakespeare's plays where people either love it or they're like, eh. So hopefully we make you love it. And if you go, keep it to yourself. I thank you very much for making it tonight. I hope you all enjoy the show.
Thank you.
As I remember, Adam, it was upon this fashion. Bequeathed me by will but poor 1,000 crowns, and charged my brother to breed me well. Thus begins my sadness. My brother Jaques he keeps at school, and report speaks goldenly of his profit. For my part, he keeps me rustically at home, or rather, stays me here at home, unkept. For call you that keeping, for a gentleman of my birth, it differs not from the stalling of an ox. His horses are kept better. For but that they are fair with feeding, they are taught their manage, and to that end riders dearly hired. Where I, his brother, gain nothing under him but growth, for the which his animals on his dunghills are as bound to him as I. Besides this nothing he so plentifully gives me, that something which nature gives me, his countenance seems to take from me. He lets me feed with his hinds, bars me the place of a brother, and as much as in him lies, minds my gentility with my education. This is it, Adam, that grieves me, and the spirit of my father, which I think is within me, begins to mutiny against this servitude. I will no longer endure it, though yet I know no wise remedy how to avoid it.
Yonder comes my master, your brother.
Go apart, Adam, and thou shalt hear how he will shake me up.
What make you here, sir?
Nothing. I'm not taught to make anything.
What mar you then, sir?
Marry, sir, I help you to mar that which God made. A poor, unworthy brother of yours with idleness.
Marry, sir, be better employed, and be not a while.
Shall I keep your hogs and eat husks with them? What prodigal portion have I spent that I should come to such penury?
Know you where you are, sir?
Oh, sir, very well, here in your orchard.
And know you before whom, sir?
Aye, better than him I am before knows me. I know you're my eldest brother, and in the gentle condition of blood you should so know me. The courtesy of nations allows you my better, in that you're the firstborn. That same tradition takes not away my blood, were there 20 brothers betwixt us. I have as much of my father in me as you, albeit I confess your coming first is nearer his reverence.
What, boy?
Come, elder brother, you're too young in this.
Well, don't lay hands on me, villain!
I am no villain. I'm the youngest son of Sir Roland de Boys. He was my father, and he's thrice a villain that says such a father begot villains. Wert thou not my brother, I would not take this hand from thy throat, till this other had pulled thy tongue out for saying so. Come, thou must rail on thyself.
Sweet masters, be patient, for your father's remembrance. Be on accord.
Let me go, I say!
I will not till I please. You shall hear me. My father charged you in his will to give me good education. You've raised me like a peasant, obscuring and hiding me from all gentlemanlike qualities. The spirit of my father grows strong in me, and I'll no longer endure it. Allow me such exercises as may become a gentleman. Forgive me the poor lottery my father left me by testament. With that, I will go buy my fortunes.
And what will thou do? Beg when that is spent? I'll get you in. I will not be long troubled with you. You will have some small portion of your will. Be gone, I pray you.
I'll no further offend you than becomes me for my good.
Oh, get him with you, you old dog!
This old dog my reward? Most true. I've lost my teeth in your service. God be with my old master. He would not have spoke such a word.
Is it even so? Begin you to grow upon me. I will physic your rankness and give no 1,000 crowns either. Was not Charles the Duke's wrestler here to see me? Charles! Holla!
Good morrow to your worship.
Good morrow, Charles. What's the new news at the new court?
Well, there's no news at the court, sir, but the old news. That is, the old Duke is banished by his younger brother, the new Duke, and 3 or 4 loving lords have put themselves into voluntary exile with him, whose lands and revenues enrich the new Duke. Therefore, he gives them good leave to wander.
Can you tell me if Rosalind, the Duke's daughter, be banished with him?
Oh, no, sir, for the Duke's daughter, her cousin, so loves her, being ever from their cradle bred together, that she would have followed her exile. or else have died to stay behind her. She is at the court, sir, and no less beloved of her uncle than his own daughter, and never two ladies loved as they do.
Where will the old Duke live?
Well, they say he's already in the forest of Arden, and a many merry men with him, and there they live like the old Robin Hood of England. They say many young gentlemen flock to him every day, and fleet the time carelessly as they did in the Golden World.
What? Are you to wrestle tomorrow before the new Duke?
Marry do I, sir. And, I came to acquaint you with a matter. I am given, sir, secretly to understand that your younger brother Orlando hath a disposition to come in disguised against me to try a fall. Tomorrow, sir, I wrestle for my credit, and he that escapes me without some broken limb shall acquit him well. Your brother is but young and tender, and for your love I would be loath to foil him as I must, if he come in against me, for my own honor. Therefore, I came hither to you to acquaint you with all, that you might stay him from his intendment, or else brook such disgrace well as he shall run into, in that it is a thing of his own will, and altogether against my reason.
Charles, I thank thee for thy love to me, which thou shalt find I will most kindly requite. I had myself notice of my brother's purpose herein, and have labored by underhanded means to dissuade him from it. But he is resolute. I tell thee, Charles, this is the stubbornest young fellow of France, full of ambition, an envious emulator of every man's good parts, a secret and villainous contriver against me, his natural brother. Therefore, use thy discretion. I had as lieve as thou did break his neck as his finger, and thou would best look to it. For if thou does him any slight disgrace, or he does not mightily grace himself against thee, he will practice against thee by poison, entrap thee in some treacherous device, and never leave thee till he has taken thy life by some underhanded means or another. For I assure you, and it's almost with tears that I speak it, there is not one so young and villainous since they living. I speak but brotherly of him, but should I anatomize him to thee as he is, I must blush and weep, and I would look pale in wonder.
I'm heartily glad I came hither to you. If he come tomorrow, I'll give him his payment. If ever he go alone again, I'll never wrestle for prize more. So, God keep your worship.
Farewell, Charles. Now will I stir this gamester. For my soul, though I know not why, hates nothing more than he. Yet he is gentle, never schooled, yet learned, full of noble device, so much so in this world, and especially mine own people who know him best, that I am altogether misprized. But it shall not be so for long. This wrestler shall clear all. Now all that remains is I kindle the voice thither, which now I'll go about.
I pray thee, Rosalind, sweet my cousin Mary. Dear Celia, I show more mirth than I am mistress of, and yet you would I were merrier. Unless you can teach me to forget a banished father, you must not learn me to remember any extraordinary pleasure. Herein I see thou lovest me not full weight that I love thee. If my uncle, thy banished father, had banished thy uncle, the Duke my father, so thou hadst still been with me, I could have taught my love to take thy father for mine. So wouldst thou, if the truth of thy love to me were so righteously tempered as mine.
I will forget the condition of my estates to rejoice in yours.
You know my father hath no child but I, nor none is like to have, and truly, when he dies, thou shalt be his heir. For what he hath taken from thy father perforce, I will render thee again in affection. By mine honor I will, and when I break that oath, let me turn monster. Therefore, my sweet Rose, my dear Rose, be merry.
From henceforth I will, and devise sports.
Let me see. What think you of falling in love? Marry, I prithee do. To make sport withal, but love no man in good earnest, nor none in sport neither. Then with safety of a pure blush thou mayst in honor come off again.
What shall our sport be then?
Let us sit and mock the good housewife Fortune from her wheel, that her gifts may henceforth be bestowed equally.
I wish we could do so, for her gifts are mightily misplaced, and she most mistaken her gifts to women.
'Tis true, for those that she makes fair, she scarce makes honest, and those that she makes honest, she makes very ill-favoredly.
Nay, now thou goes from Fortune's office to Nature's. Fortune reigns in the gifts of the world, not in the lineaments of nature.
No. When nature hath made a fair creature, may she not by fortune fall into the fire? So nature hath given us wit to flat at fortune, hath not fortune sent in this fool to cut off the argument?
Indeed, there is fortune too hard for nature. When fortune makes nature's natural, the cutter off of nature's wits.
Peradventure, this is not fortune's work neither, but nature's, who perceiveth our natural wits too dull to reason of such goddesses, and hath sent this natural for our whetstone. For always the dullness of the fool is the whetstone of the wit. How now, wit? Whither wander you?
Mistress, you must come away to your father.
Were you made the messenger?
No, upon mine honor, but I was bid to come for you.
Where learned you that, oath fool?
Of a certain knight who swore upon his honor that the pancakes were good, and upon his honor that the mustard was not. Now I'll stand to it that the pancakes were not and the mustard was good, and yet was not the knight forsworn.
How prove you that, in the great heap of your knowledge?
Yea, marry, unmuzzle your wisdom.
Stand you both forth now. Stroke your chins, and swear by your beards that I am a knave.
By our beards, if we had them, thou art.
And upon my knavery, if I had it, then I were. But if you swear by that is not, you are not forsworn. No more was this knight swearing upon his honor, for he never had any. Or if he had, he swore it away before ever he saw those pancakes or that mustard.
Prithee, who is that thou meanest?
One that old man Frederick, your father, loves.
My father's love is enough to honor him. Enough, speak no more of him. You'll be whipped for taxation one of these days.
The more pity that fools cannot say wisely what wise men do foolishly.
By my troth, thou sayest true. For since the little wit that fools have was silence, the little foolery that wise men have makes a great show. Here comes Madame Belle,
With her mouth full of news.
which she will put on us as pigeons feed their young.
Then shall we be news crams?
All the better, we shall be the more marketable. Bonjour, Madame Belle, what's the news?
Oh, fair princess, you have lost much good sport.
Sport? Of what color?
What color, madam? How shall I answer you? As wit and fortune will.
Or as the destinies decrees.
Well said, that was laid on with a trowel.
Nay, if I keep not my rank.
Thou losest thy old smell. You amaze me, ladies. I would have told you of good wrestling, which you have lost the sight of. Yet, tell us the manner of the wrestling. I will tell you the beginning, and if it pleases your ladyships, you may see the end. For the best is yet to do, and here, where you are, they are coming to perform it.
Well, the beginning, that is dead and buried.
There comes an old man and his 3 sons.
I could match this beginning with an old tale.
3 proper young men of excellent growth and presence. With bills on their necks, be it known to all men by these presents. The eldest of the 3 wrestled with Charles, the Duke's wrestler, which Charles, in a moment, threw him and broke 3 of his ribs. And there is little hope of life in him left. So he struck the 2nd, and so the 3rd. Yonder they lie. Oh, the poor old man, their father, making such pitiful dole over them that all the beholders take his part with weeping. Alas!
But what is the sport, madam, that the ladies have lost?
Why, this that I speak of.
Thus men may grow wiser every day. 'Tis the first that ever I heard of breaking ribs was sport for ladies.
Or I promise thee.
But is there any else longs to hear this broken music played upon his sides? Is there yet another dotes upon rib breaking? Shall we see this wrestling, cuz? You must if you stay here, for here is the appointed place for the wrestling, and they are ready to perform it.
Yonder sure they are coming. Let us now stay and see it.
Come on. If the youth will not be entreated, his own peril on his forwardness.
Is yonder the man? Even he, madam.
Alas, he's too young, yet he looks successfully.
Why, how now, daughter and cousin, crept you hither to see the wrestling?
Aye, my liege, so please you give us leave.
Well, you will take little delight in it, I can tell you. Such are the odds in the man. In pity of the challenger's youth, I would fain dissuade him, but he will not be entreated. Speak to him, ladies. See if you can move him.
Call him hither, good Madam Belle.
Do so. I'll be not by.
Monsieur the Challenger, the princess calls for you.
I attend with all respect and duty.
Young man, have you challenged Charles the Wrestler?
No, fair princess. He is the general challenger. I accompany as others do to try him with the strength of my youth.
Young gentlemen, your spirits are too bold for your years. You've seen cruel proof of this man's strength. If you saw yourself with your eyes or knew yourself with your judgment, the fear of your adventure would counsel you to a more equal enterprise. We pray you for your own sake to embrace your own safety and give over this attempt.
Do, good sir. Your reputation shall therefore not be misprized. We will make it our suit to the Duke that the wrestling might not go forward.
I beseech you, punish me not with your hard thoughts and prayers, wherein I confess me much guilty to deny so fair and excellent ladies anything. But let your fair eyes and gentle wishes go with me to my trial, wherein if I be foiled, there is but one shamed who is never gracious, but killed but one dead who's willing to be so. I shall do my friends no wrong, for I have none to lament me. The world no injury, for in it I have nothing. Only in the world I take up a place which may be better supplied when I have made it empty.
What little strength I have, I would it were with you.
And mine to eke out hers.
Fare you well. Pray heaven I be deceived in you.
Your heart's desires be with you.
Come, where is this young gallant that is so desirous to lie with his mother earth?
Ready, sir, though his will hath in it a more modest working.
You shall try but one fall. No, I warrant your grace. You shall not entreat him to a second, that have so mightily persuaded him from a first.
You mean to mock me after? You should not have mocked me before. Come your ways.
Hercules be thy speed, young man.
I would I were invisible, so I could catch the strong fellow by the leg.
Oh, excellent young man.
If I had a thunderbolt in mine eye, I can tell who stood down.
Hey, look over there!
Oh, I see it! No more, no more!
Yes, I beseech your grace, I'm not yet well breathed.
How dost thou, Charles?
He cannot stay, my lord.
Bear him away. What is thy name, young man?
Orlando, my liege, youngest son of Sir Roland de Boys.
I would thou hadst been son to some man else. The world esteemed thy father honorable, but I did find him still mine enemy. Thou should have better pleased me with this deed hadst thou descended from another house. But fare thee well, thou art a gallant youth. I would thou hadst told me of another father.
Were I my father, cousin, would I do this?
I'm proud to be Sir Roland's son, his youngest son. Will not change that calling to be adopted heir to Frederick.
My father loved Sir Roland as his soul, and all the world was of my father's mind. Had I known this young man his son, I would have given him tears unto entreaties ere he should thus have ventured.
Gentle cousin, let us go thank him and encourage him. My father's rough and envious disposition sicks me at heart. Sir, you have well deserved. If you do keep your promises in love but justly, as you have exceeded all promise, your mistress shall be happy.
Gentlemen, wear this for me. One out of suit good fortune. Could give more, but there were hands not me. But you go.
Aye. Fare you well, fair gentlemen.
Can I not say I thank you? My better parts are all thrown down, and that which here stands up is but a quintain, a mere lifeless block.
He calls us back. My pride fell with my fortunes. I'll ask him what he would. Did you call, sir? Sir, you have wrestled well and overthrown more than your enemies.
Will you go first?
Have with you. Fare you well.
What passion hangs these weights upon my tongue? I cannot speak though she urged conference. Oh, poor Orlando, thou art overthrown, or else Charles or something weaker masters thee.
Oh, good sir! Good sir! I do at friendship counsel you to leave this place, albeit you have deserved high commendation, true applause, and love. But such is now the Duke's condition, that he misconstrues all that you have done. The Duke is humorous. What he is indeed suits you more to conceive than I to think, to even speak of.
Thank you. I pray you tell me, which of the two was the daughter of the Duke that was here at the wrestling?
Well, neither his daughter if we judge by manners, but yet indeed the smaller is his daughter. The other is daughter to the banished Duke, detained here by her usurping uncle to keep his daughter company, whose loves are dearer than the natural bond of sisters. But I can tell you that of late, that this Duke hath tamed displeasure against his gentle niece, founded upon no other argument but that the people praise her for her virtues and pity her for her good father's sake, and, on my life, his malice against the lady will suddenly break forth. Sir, fare you well. Hereafter in a better world than this, I shall desire more love and knowledge of you.
I rest much bounden to you. Fare you well. Thus must I, from the smoke into the smother, a tyrant Duke and a tyrant brother. But heavenly Rosalind!
Oh, how full of briars is this working day world!
They are but burrs thrown upon thee in holiday foolery. If we walk not in the trodden paths, our very petticoats will catch them.
I could shake those from my coat. These burrs are in my heart.
Hem them away.
I wish I could, if I could cry hem and have him.
Come, wrestle with thy affections.
Oh, they take the part of a better wrestler than myself.
Oh, good wish upon you. You will try in time in despite of a fall. But, turning these jests out of service, let us talk in good earnest. Is it possible, on such a sudden, you should fall into so strong a liking with old Sir Alan's youngest son?
The Duke, my father, loved his father dearly.
Doth it therefore ensue that you should love his son dearly? By this kind of chase, I should hate him, for my father hated his father dearly, yet I hate not Orlando.
No, Faith, hate him not, for my sake.
Why should I not? Doth he not well deserve?
Let me love him for that, and you do love him because I do. Oh, look you, here comes the Duke.
With his eyes full of anger.
Mistress, dispatch you with your safest haste and get you from our court.
Me, uncle?
You, cousin. Within these 10 days, if that thou beest found so near our public court as 20 miles, thou diest for it.
I do beseech your grace, let me the knowledge of my faults bear with me. If with myself I hold intelligence, or have acquaintance with mine own desires, if that I do not dream, or be not frantic, as I do trust I am not, then, dear uncle, never so much as in a thought unborn did I offend your highness.
Thus do all traitors. If their purgation did consist in words, they were as innocent as grace itself. Let it suffice thee that I trust thee not.
Yet your mistrust cannot make me a traitor. Tell me whereupon the likelihood depends.
Thou art thy father's daughter. That's enough.
So was I when your highness took his dukedom. So was I when your highness banished him. Treason is not inherited, sir. Or if we did derive it from our neighbors, what's that to me? My father was no traitor. Therefore, good my liege, mistake me not so much to think that my poverty is treacherous.
Dear sovereign, hear me speak.
Oh, aye, Celia. We stayed her for your sake. Else had she with her father ranged along.
I did not then entreat to have her stay. It was your pleasure and your own remorse. I was too young that time to value her, but now I know her. If she betrayed her, why so am I. We still have slept together, rose at an instant, learned, played, eat together. And wheresoever we went, like Juno's swans, still we stayed coupled and inseparable.
She is too subtle for thee. Her smoothness, her very silence, and her patience speak to the people, and they pity her. Thou art a fool. She robs thee of thy name, and thou wilt seem more bright and show more virtuous when she is gone. Then ope not thy lips. Firm and irrevocable is my doom which I have passed upon her. She's banished.
Pronounce that sentence then on me, my liege. I cannot live out of her company.
Thou art a fool. Mistress, provide yourself. If you outstay the time, then upon mine honor and on the greatness of my word, you die.
Oh, my poor Rosalind, whither wilt thou go? Wilt thou change fathers? I will give thee mine. I charge thee, be thou not more grieved than I am.
I have more cause.
Thou hast not, cousin. Prithee, be cheerful. Knowst thou not the Duke hath banished me, his daughter?
That he hath not.
No, hath not. Rosalind lacks then the love that teacheth thee that thou and I am one. Shall we be sundered? Shall we part, sweet girl? No, let my father seek another heir. Therefore devise with me how we may fly, whither to go and what to bear with us, and do not seek to take your change upon you, to bear your griefs yourself and leave me out. For by this heaven now at our sorrow's pale say what thou canst, I'll go along with thee.
Why, whither shall we go?
To seek my uncle in the forest of Arden.
Alas, what danger shall it be to us? Maids as we are, to travel forth so far? Beauty provoketh thieves sooner than gold.
I'll put myself in a kind of poor and mean attire, and with a kind of umber smirk to my face. The likes do you, so shall we pass along and never stir assailants?
Were it not better, because I am more than common tall, that I did suit myself all points, like a man? A gallant curlax at my thigh, and a boar spear in my hand. And in my heart lie there what hidden woman's fears there will. We'll have a swashing and a martial outside, as many other mannish cowards have that do outface it with their semblances.
What shall I call thee when thou art a man?
I'll have no worse name than Jove's own page. Therefore, look you call me Ganymede. But what shall you be called?
Something that hath a reference to my state. No longer Celia, but Eliana.
But cousin, what if we essayed to steal the clownish fool out of your father's court? Would he not be a comfort to our travel?
He'll go o'er the wide world with me. Leave me alone to woo him. Let's away and get our jewels and our wealth together. Devise the fittest time and safest way to hide us from pursuit that will be made after my flight. Now go we in content to liberty and not to banishment.
Now, my co-mates, brothers in exile, hath not old custom made this life more sweet than that of painted pomp? Are not these woods more free from peril than the envious court? Here, feel we not the penalty of that. The seasons' difference, as the icy fang and churlish chiding of the winter's wind, which, when it bites and blows upon my body, even till I shrink with cold I smile, and say, this is no flattery. These are counselors which feelingly persuade me what I am. Sweet are the uses of adversity, which, like the toad, ugly and venomous, wears yet a precious jewel in his head. And this, our life, exempt from public haunt, finds tongues in trees, books in the running brooks, sermons in stones, good in everything. I would not change it.
Happy is your grace that can translate the stubbornness of fortune into so quiet and so sweet a style.
Come, shall we go and kill us venison? And yet it irks me, the poor dappled fools, being native burghers of this desert city, should in their own confines with forked heads have the round haunches gold.
Indeed, my lord. The melancholy Jaques grieves at that, and in that kind swears you do more usurp than does your brother that had banished you. Today, Lord of Amiens and myself, we did steal behind him as he lay under an oak whose antique roots peeped out upon the brook that brawls along this woods, to that which a poor sequestered stag that, from a hunter's aim, had taken a hurt, had come to languish. Indeed, my lord, the wretched animal heaved forth such groans that their disbursement stretched his leathern coat almost to bursting, and big round tears coursed one another down his poor innocent nose. In piteous chase, thus the hairy fool, much marked of the melancholy Jaques, stood at the extremest edge of the swift brook, augmenting it with tears.
But what said Jaques? Did he not moralize the spectacle?
Oh yes, into 1,000 similes. First, for weeping into the needless stream. Oh, poor dear, quoth Jaques, making thy testament as worldlings do, giving thy sum of more to that which had too much. Then, being alone, left, and abandoned of his velvet friends, poor Jaques, because then he started lamenting again. Sweep on, you fat and greasy citizens. Therefore do you look upon your broke and bankrupt there. Thus, most invectively, he pierced through the body of country, city, court. Aye, and of this our life, swears that we are mere usurpers, tyrants, and what's worse, swears we are to fright the animals and kill them up.
Show me the place. I love to coax him in these sullen fits, for then he's full of matter.
I'll show you to him straight.
Can it be possible that no man saw them? It cannot be. Some villains of my court have consent and sufferance in this.
I cannot hear of any that did see her. The ladies, her attendants of her chamber, saw her abed, and in the morning early found the bed untreasured of their mistress. The roynish clown at whom so oft your graces want to laugh at, is also missing. Hesperia, the princess's gentlewoman, confesses that she secretly overheard your daughter and her cousin much commend the parts and graces of the wrestler that did but lately foil the sinewy Charles. And she believes that wherever they are gone, that youth is surely in their company.
Send to his brother. Fetch that gallant hither. If he be absent, bring the brother to me. I'll make him find them. Do this suddenly, and let not search or inquisition quail to bring again these foolish runaways. Who's there?
What? My young master. Oh, my gentle master. Oh, my sweet master. Why are you so sweet and kind? Oh, you memory of old Sir Welland. Why, what makes you here? Know you not the some kind of men? Their graces are but enemies to them. No more are yours. Oh, gentle master, your virtues are sanctified and holy traitors to you.
Why, what's the matter?
Come not within these doors. Within this roof, the enemy of all your graces lives. Your brother. No, not brother. Yet the son. Yet not the son. I will not call him son of him I was about to call his father. Hath heard your praises. And this night means to burn the lodging where you used to lie, and you within it. And if he fails at that, he has other means to cut you off. I overheard him in his practices. This house is no place. It is but a butchery. Fear it. Do not enter it.
Why, whither, Adam, wouldst thou have me go?
No matter whither, so as not to come here.
What, wouldst thou have me go and beg my food? Or with a base and boisterous sword enforce a thievish living on the common road? Well, this I must do, or know not what to do. Yet this I will not do how I can. Rather, I will subject me to the malice of a diverted blood and bloody brother.
But do not so. I have 500 crowns, the thrifty hire I saved unto your father, which I did store to be my foster nurse when service in my old limbs lie lame and unregarded age to the corner's throne. Take that and he that doth the raven's feed, yet providently cater for the sparrow, to comfort to my age. Here is the gold. All this I give you. Let me be your servant. Though I look old, I am strong and lusty. For in my youth I never did apply hot and rebellious liquors in my blood, nor did I with unbashful forehead rule with weakness and disability. Therefore my age is like a lusty winter, frosty, but kindly. Let me go with you. I'll do the service of a younger man, and all your necessities and business.
My good old man. How well in thee appears the ancient service of the antique world, when service sweat for duty and not for meed. Well, thou art not for the fashion of these times, where none will sweat but for promotion, and having it, do choke their service up, even with the having. It's not so with thee. But thy poor old man, thou prunest a rotten tree, that cannot so much as a blossom yield in lieu of all thy pains at husbandry. But come thy ways. We'll go along together, and ere we have thy useful fortune spent, we'll light upon some settled low content.
Master, go on, and I will follow thee to the last gasp of truth and loyalty. From 17 years to now, almost 80, here lived I, but live no more. For 17 years, many other fortunes they seek, but at 80 too late a week. Yet fortune cannot recompense me better than to die well, and not my master's debtor.
Jupiter, how weary are my spirits!
I would care not for my spirits if my legs were not weary.
To find it in my heart to disgrace my man's apparel and cry like a woman. But I must comfort the weaker vessel, as doublet and hose must show itself courageous to petticoat. Therefore, courage, good Aliena.
I pray you bear with me. I cannot go no further.
For my part, I would rather bear with you than bear you. If I should bear no cross if I did bear you, for I think you have no money in your purse.
Well, this is the forest of Arden.
Aye, now I am in Arden, the more fool I. When I was at home, I was in a better place, but travelers must be content.
Aye, be so, good touchstone. Look who comes here, a young man in old and solemn talk.
That is the way to make her scorn you still.
Corn, that thou knewest how I do love her.
I partly know, having loved ere now.
No, Corn, being old, thou canst not guess. Though in thy youth thou wast as true a lover as ever sighed upon a midnight pillow. But if thy love were ever like to mine, as sure I think has never man loved so, how many actions most ridiculous hast thou been drawn to by thy fancy?
Into 1,000 ere I forgot.
Thou hast then never loved so heartily. If thou rememberest not the slightest folly that love did make thee run into, thou hast not loved. If thou hast not said as I do now, wearying thy hearer in thy mistress's praise, thou hast not loved. If thou hast not broke from company abruptly, as my passion now makes me, thou hast not loved. Oh, Phoebe. Phoebe. Phoebe.
Alas, poor shepherd! Searching of thy wound, I have by hard adventure found mine own.
Oh, and I mine. I do now remember when I was in love, breaking my sword upon a stone and bidding it take that for coming aright to Jane's smile. I remember the kissing of her batlet, remember the cow's dogs that her pretty chopped hands had milked. I remember the wooing of a peace card instead of her, from whom I took 2 cards, and giving her them back again, said with weeping tears, wear these for my sake. We that are true lovers come into strange capers, but as all is mortal in nature, so all nature in love is mortal in folly.
Thou speaks wiser than thou art ware of.
Nay, I shall ne'er beware my own wit till I break my shins upon it.
Jove, this shepherd's passion is much upon my fashion.
Oh, and I mine, though it goes something stale with me.
I pray you, one of you question yon man if he for gold will give us any food. I faint almost to death.
How you, clown?
Peace, you fool! Not thy kinsman.
Who calls?
You're better, sir!
Else they are very wretched.
Peace, I say! Good evening to you, friends.
Good evening, you, sir. To you all.
I prithee, shepherd, if that love or gold can in this desert place buy entertainment, bring us where we may rest ourselves and feed. Here is a young maid with travel much oppressed and faints for succor.
Fair sir, I pity her, and wish that my fortunes were better able to relieve her for her sake from my own. But I am shepherd to another man, and do not shear the fleeces that I graze. My master is of a churlish disposition, and little recks the way to heaven by doing deeds of hospitality. Besides, his coat, his sheep, and his bounds of feed are for sale, and are at the sheepcote now. By reason of his absence, there is nothing for you to feed on. But come, see, and in my voice most welcome shall you be.
What is he that is to buy the pasture and the flock?
That young swain that you saw here erstwhile, that cares little for buying anything.
I prithee, if it stand with honesty, buy thou the cottage, the pasture, and the flock, and thou shalt have to pay for it of us.
And we will mend my wages. I like this place and willingly could waste my time in it.
Assuredly, the thing is to be sold. Go with me. If like upon you the reports, this soil, the air, and this kind of life, I will your very faithful feeder be, and buy it with your gold right suddenly.
Under the greenwood tree, who loves to lie with me, and turn his merry note unto the green bird's throat. Come hither, come hither, come hither, here shall we sing. No enemy, but winter and rough weather.
More, I prithee, more.
It will make you melancholy, Monsieur Jacques.
Oh, I thank it. More, I prithee more. I can suck melancholy out of a song as a weasel sucks eggs. More, I prithee, more.
My voice is ragged. I know I cannot please you.
I do not desire you to please me. I do desire you to sing. Come, more, another stanzo. Call you stanzos?
What you will, Monsieur Jacques.
Nay, I care not for their names. They owe me nothing. Will you sing?
More at your request than to please myself.
Oh, then if ever I thank any man, I'll thank you. But that they call compliment is like the encounter of two dog-apes. And when a man thanks me heartily, methinks I've given him a penny, and he renders me beggarly thanks. Come, sing, and you that will not hold your tongues.
Well, I'll end the song. Sirs, cover the while. The Duke will drink under this tree. He hath been all this day to look.
And I have been all this day to avoid him. He is too disputable for my company. I think of as many matters as he, and yet I give heaven thanks and make no boast of them. Will you sing? I made a verse yesterday in despite of my invention. And I'll sing it. As it goes.
If it to come to pass that any man turn to ass, leaving his wealth and ease, a stubborn will to please. Duke Dame, Duke Dame, here shall we see, gross fools is he, and if he shall come to me.
Oh.
What's that Duke Dame?
It is a Greek invocation to call fools into a circle. I'll go to sleep, if I can. And if I cannot, I'll rail against all the firstborn of Egypt.
And I'll seek the Duke. His banquet is prepared.
Oh, dear master, I can go no further. Will I die for food? Here lie I down and measure out my grave. Farewell, kind master.
How now, Adam? No greater heart in thee. Live a little, comfort a little, cheer thyself a little. If there live any savage thing in this forest, either I'll be food for it, or I'll bring it for food to thee. Hold death a while at arm's end. If I come not back with food, I give thee leave to die. If thou diest before I get back, thou art a mocker of my labor. Well said. Yet thou lie in the bleak air. Come, I'll bear thee to some shelter or other. If there live anything in this desert, thou shalt not die for lack of a good dinner. Cheerily, good Adam.
I think he be transformed into a beast, for I can nowhere find him like a man.
My lord, he was now gone hence. Here he was, merry hearing of a song.
If he come back to Jar's Girl musical, we shall have shortly discord in the spheres. Go seek him. Tell him I would speak with him.
My lord saves my labor by his approach.
Why, how now, monsieur? What life is this that your poor friends must for your company? What? You look merrily.
A fool! A fool! I met a fool in the forest, a motley fool. Miserable world, as I do live by food, I met a fool who laid him down and basked him in the sun, and railed on Lady Fortune in good terms, and in good set terms, and yet a motley fool. Good morrow, fool, quoth I. No, sir, quoth he, call me not fool till heaven hath sent me fortune. And then he drew a dial out of his poke, and looking on it with lackluster eye, says very wisely, it is 10 o'clock. Thus we may see, quoth he, how the world wags. 'Tis but an hour ago since it was 9, and in 1 hour more 'twill be 11. And so, from hour to hour we ripe and ripe, and from hour to hour we rot and rot, and thereby hangs a tale. When I did hear this motley fool thus moral on the tongue, my lungs began to crow like Chanticleer, that fools should be so deep contemplative. I did laugh, sans intermission, for 1 hour by his dial. Oh, motley is the only wear.
What fool is this?
Oh, a worthy fool, one that has been a courtier, and says, if ladies be but young and fair, they have the gift to know it. And in his brain, which is dry as remainder biscuit after a voyage, he hath strange places crammed with observation, the which he vents in mangled forms. Oh, that I were a fool! I am ambitious for a motley coat.
Oh, thou shalt have one.
It is my only suit, provided you weed your better judgments of all opinion that grows rank in them, that I am wise. I must have liberty with all, as large a charter as the wind, to blow on whom I please, for so fools have. And they that are most galled by my folly, they most must laugh. And why so must they so? The why 'tis plain as way to parish church. He that a fool doth very wisely hit, doth very foolishly, although he's smart, not to seem senseless of the bar. If not, the wise man's folly is anatomized even by the squandering glance of a fool. Invest me in my motley, give me leave to speak my mind, and I will through and through cleanse the foul body of the infected world, if they will but patiently receive my medicine.
Fie on thee. I can tell what thou wouldst do.
Oh, what for a counter would I do but good?
Most mischievous foul sin in chiding sin.
Oh.
For thou thyself hast been a libertine.
Oh.
As sensual as the brutish sting itself. And all the embossed sores and headed evils that thou with license of free foot hast caught, which thou disgorge into the general world.
Who can cry out on pride that the Canarian tax any private party? Doth it not flow as hugely as the sea, till that the weary very means do ebb? What woman of the city do I name when I say, the city woman bears the cost of princes on unworthy shoulders? Who can come in and say that I mean her when such a one as she such is her neighbor? And who is he of basest function that says his bravery is not of my cost, thinking that I mean him? But therein suits his folly to the metal of my speech. There then. What then? How then? Let me see wherein my tongue hath wronged him. If it do him right, he hath wronged himself. And if he be free, why then my taxing like wild goose flies, unclaimed of any man. Now, who comes here?
Forbear and eat no more.
I have eat none yet.
Nor shalt not till necessity be served.
Of what kind should this cock come of?
Art thou thus boldened, man, by thy distress? Or also rude despiser of good manners, that in civility thou seemest so empty?
You touched my vein at first. The thorny point of bare distress hath taken me from the show of smooth civility. I am inland bred and know some nurture. But forbear, I say, he dies that touches any of this fruit till I and my affairs are answered.
Well, and you will not be answered with reason? I must die.
What would you have? Your gentleness shall force more than your force move us to gentleness.
I almost die for food. Let me have it.
Sit down and feed. Welcome to our table.
Speak you so gently. Pardon me, I pray you. I thought all things to be savage here. But whatsoe'er you are, that in this desert inaccessible, under the shade of these melancholy boughs that lose and neglect the creeping hours of time, if ever you've looked on better days, if ever been where bells have knolled the church, sat at any good man's feast, or from thy eyelids wiped a tear, know what it is to pity and be pitied. And let gentleness my stern enforcement be, in the which hope I blush and hide my sword.
True is it that we have seen better days, and have with holy bell been knolled to church, and sat at good men's feasts, and wiped our eyes of drops that sacred pity hath engendered. And therefore, sit you down in gentleness, and take upon command what help we have, that to your wanting may be ministered.
Then but forbear your food a little while longer, whiles I, like a doe, go to find my fawn and give it food. There is an old poor man, who after me hath limped many a weary step in pure love, till he be first sufficed, abreast of 2 weak evils, age and hunger. I'll not touch a bit.
Go find him out, and we will nothing waste till you return.
Thank you, and be blessed for your good comfort.
Thou seest, we are not all alone unhappy. This wide and universal theater presents more woeful pageants than the scene wherein we play in.
All the world's a stage, and all the men and women merely players. They have their entrances and their exits, and one man in his time plays many parts, his acts being 7 ages. At first, the infant, mewling and puking in the nurse's arms. And then the whining schoolboy with satchel and shining morning face, creeping like snail unwillingly to school. And then the lover, sighing like furnace with a woeful ballad made to his mistress' eyebrow. Then a soldier, full of strange oaths and bearded like the pard, jealous in honor, sudden and quick in quarrel, seeking the bubble reputation, even in the cannon's mouth. And then the justice, and fair round belly with good cape and line, with eye severe and beard of formal cut, full of wise saws and modern instances, and so he plays his part. The 6th age shifts into the lean and slippered pantaloon, with his spectacles on nose, pouch on side, his youthful hose well saved, a world too wide for his shrunk shank, and his big manly voice turning again toward childish treble pipes and whistles in its sound. Last scene of all that ends this strange, eventful history is second childishness and mere oblivion. Sans teeth, sans eyes, sans taste, sans everything.
Welcome. Set down your venerable burden, and let him speak.
I thank you most for him.
So had you need us, scarce can speak. Thank you for myself.
Well, fall to. I will not trouble you as yet to question you about your fortunes. Give us some music, good cousin. Think.
Blow, blow, thou winter wind, thou art not so unkind as man's ingratitude. Thy tooth is not so keen, because thou art not seen, although thy breath be rude. Freeze, freeze, thou bitter sky that does not bite so nigh, as benefits forgot. Go thou the waters warp, thy sting is not so sharp, as friends remember not. Then hi-ho the holly, this life is most jolly.
If that you were the good Sir Roland's son, as you have whispered faithfully you were, and as mine eye doth his effigies witness, most truly limbed and living in your face, be truly welcome hither. I am the Duke that loved your father, the residue of your fortune. Go to my cave and tell me. Good old man, thou art right welcomed as thy master is, supported by the army. Give me your hand, and let me all your fortunes understand.
Not seen him since? Oh, sir, it cannot be. But were I not the better part made mercy, I should not seek an absent argument for my revenge, thou present. But look to it. Find out thy brother wheresoe'er he is. Seek him with candle. Bring him dead or alive within this 12-month, or turn thou never to seek a living within our territory. Thou lands and all things thou dost call thine, worth seizure, do we seize into our hands, till thou canst quit thee by thy brother's mouth of what we think against thee.
Oh, that your highness knew my heart in this. I never loved my brother in my life.
The more villain thou. Turn him out of doors, and let my officers of such a nature make an extent upon his house and lands. Do this expediently and set him going.
Hang there my verse, in witness of my love, and thou, thrice-crowned Queen of Night, survey, with thy chaste eye, from thy pale sphere above, thy huntress's name which my whole life doth sway. O Rosalind, these trees shall be my books, and in their barks my thoughts I'll character, that every eye which in this forest looks shall see thy virtue witnessed everywhere. Run, run, Orlando, carve in every tree the fair, chaste, and unexpressive she.
What think you of this shepherd's life, Master Touchstone?
Truly, shepherd, in respect of itself, it is a good life. But in respect that it is a shepherd's life, it is not. In respect that it is solitary, I like it very well. But in respect that it is private, it is a very vile life. In respect that it is in the fields, it pleaseth me well. But in respect that it is not at court, it is tedious. Now, as it is a spare life, look you, it fits my humor well. But as there is no more plenty in it, it goes much against my stomach. Hast any philosophy in thee, shepherd?
No more than that I know that a man who is sick is less at ease. A man who wants means, money, and content is without 3 good friends. The property of rain is to wet, fire to burn, good pasture to make fat sheep, and the primary cause of the night is lack of the sun.
Such a one is a natural philosopher.
Huh.
Wast ever in court, shepherd?
No, truly.
Well, then thou art damned.
Nay, I hope so.
Truly thou art damned, like an ill-roasted egg, all on one side.
For not being at court, your reason.
Why, if thou never wast at court, thou never sawest good manners. If thou never sawest good manners, then thy manners must be wicked, and wickedness is sin, and sin is damnation. Thou art in a parlous state, shepherd.
Not a whit, Touchstone. You said yourself that there are manners in the court that do not go in the country, just as there are manners in the country that are mockable at the court. You salute, not at the court, but we do in the country, and you kiss hands in the court, which would be uncleanly if courtiers were shepherds.
Instance, briefly. Come, instance.
We are handling our ewes, and their fells, you know, are greasy.
Why do not thy courtiers' hands sweat? And is not the grease of a button as wholesome as the sweat of a man? Shallow, shallow, a better instance, I say. Come.
Our hands are hard.
Your lips will feel them the sooner. Shallow again. A more sounder instance. Come.
We are handling the surgery of our sheep, and our hands are tarred, and you do not want to kiss tar. Your courtiers' hands are perfumed with civet.
Oh, most shallow man, thou worm's meat in respect of a good piece of flesh indeed. Learn of the wise and perpend. Civet is of a baser nature than tar, the most uncleanly flocks of a cat. Mend the instant, shepherd.
You have too courtly a wit for me. I'll rest.
Wilt thou rest, dad? God save thee, shallow man. God make incision in thee. Thou art raw.
Sir, I am a true laborer. My greatest pride is to see my land suck and my ewes graze.
That is another simple sin in thee, to bring the ewes and rams together and to offer to get your living by the population of cattle? To be bought to a bellwether, to betray a she-lamb of 12 months to a crooked-pated old cuckoldly ram out of all reasonable match. If thou beest not damned for this, the devil himself shall have no shepherds. I cannot see else how thou shouldst state.
Look, here comes my mistress's brother, Master Ganymede.
From the east to western inn, no jewel is like Rosalind, her worth being mounted on the wind. through all the world bears Rosalind. All the picture's fairest line are but black to Rosaline. Let no face be kept in mind but the fair of Rosaline.
Why, I'll rhyme you so 7 years together, dinners and suppers and sleeping times accepted. It is the right butter woman's rank to market.
Ouch, fool!
For a taste. If the heart do lack a hind, let him seek out Rosaline. If the cat will Africane, so be sure will Rosaline. Winter garments must be lined, so much slender Rosaline. They that reap a sheaf and bind, and then to cart with Rosaline. Sweetest nut has sourest rind, such a nut is Rosaline. He that sweetest rose must find love's prick and Rosaline. It is the very false gallop of verses. Why do you infect yourself with them?
Peace, you dull fool. I found them on a tree.
Truly, the tree yields bad fruit.
I'll graph it with you, and then I'll graph it with a medley. Then it will be the earliest fruit in the country, for you'll be rotten ere you be half ripe, and that is the right virtue of a medley.
You have said, though whether wisely or no, let the forest judge.
People know. Tongues I'll hang on every tree, that shall civil saying show. Some how brief the life of man runs his erring pilgrimage, that the stretching of a span buckles in his sum of age. Some of violated vows twixt the souls of friend and friend, but upon the fairest vows are at every sentence end. Will I rather live aright, teaching all that read to know, the quintessence of every sprite, heaven would in little show. Therefore, having nature charged that one body should be filled with all graces wide and large, nature presently distilled. Helen's cheek, but not her heart, Cleopatra's majesty, Atalanta's better part, sad Lucretia's modesty. Thus Rosalind of many parts, by heavenly synod was divided, of many faces, eyes, and hearts, to have the touches here ascribed. Heaven would that she these gifts should have, and I to live and die her slave.
O most gentle pulpiteer! What tedious homily of love have you wearied your parishioners withal, and never cried, "Have patience, good people"?
Why, how now? Back, friends. Shepherd, roll off a little. Go with him, Sarah.
Come, shepherd, let us make an honorable retreat, though not with bag and baggage, yet with scrip and scrimmage.
And more too, for some of them had in them more feet than the verse could bear. That's no matter, the feet might bear the verse. Aye, but the feet were lame, and could not bear themselves without the verse, and therefore stood lamely in the verse.
But didst thou hear without wondering how thy name should be hanged and carved upon these trees?
I was 7 of the 9 days out of wonder before you came. Well, if you hear what I found on the tree. I was never so berhymed since Pythagoras' time, but I was an Irish rat, so that's hardly a record.
Trow, you hast done this,
Is it a man?
and a chain that you once wore about his neck. Change your color?
I prithee, who?
Oh, Lord, Lord, it is a hard matter for friends to meet, that mountains may be removed with earthquakes and so impressive.
Nay, but
Is it possible?
nay, I prithee now with most petitionary vehemence. Tell me who it is.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful, and most wonderful, wonderful, and yet again wonderful, and after that, animal hooping.
Good, my complexion. Dost thou think that because I'm comparison like a man, I have a doublet and hose in my disposition? 1 inch of delay more is a South Sea of discovery. I tell me who it is quickly, and speak apace. Oh! I wish thou couldst stammer and pour the concealed man out of thy mouth, like wine comes out of a narrow-mouthed bottle, either too much at once or none at all. I prithee, take the cork out of your mouth, that I may drink thy tidings.
So you may put a man in your belly.
What manner of man? Is he of God's making? Is his head worth a hat, or his chin worth a beard?
Nay, he hath but a little beard.
Why, God will send him more if the man be thankful. Let me say the growth of his beard, if thou delay me not the knowledge of his chin.
It is young Orlando that tricked up the wrestler's heels in your heart both in an instant.
Nay, but the devil take mocking, speak sad brow and true maid.
In faith, cause it is he.
Orlando?
Orlando.
Oh, alas the day! What shall I do with my doublet and hose? What did he when thou sawest him? What said he? How looked he? Wherein went he? What makes he here? Did he ask for me? How parted he with thee, and when shalt thou see him again? Answer me in one word.
You must borrow me Gargantua's mouth first. It is a word too great for any mouth of this age's size. To say aye and no to these particulars is more than to answer in a catechism.
But does he know that I am in this forest and dressed in man's apparel? Oh, look he as freshly as the day he wrestled.
It is as easy to count avenues as to resolve the propositions of a lover. But take a taste of my findings and relish it with good observance. I found him under a tree, and it dropped acorn.
It may well be called Jove's tree if it drops forth such fruit.
Give me audience, good madam.
Proceed.
There lay he, stretched along like a wounded knight.
Though it be a pity to see such a sight, it well becomes the ground.
Cry hollow to thy tongue, I pity, it curvets unseasonably. He was furnished like a hunter.
Oh, ominous! He comes to kill my heart!
I would sing my song without a burden. Thou bringest me out of tune.
Do you not know that I am a woman? When I think, I must speak. Say on.
You bring me out. Soft. Comes he not here?
Oh, 'tis he. Slink by and note him.
Oh, I thank you for your company, but I had as lief been myself alone.
And so had I, yet for fashion's sake I beg thee too for thy society.
God be with you, and let's meet as little as we can.
I do desire we be better strangers.
And I pray you, mar no more trees with writing love songs in their barks.
I pray you, mar no more of my verses by reading them ill-favoredly.
Rosalind is your love's name.
Yes, just.
I do not like her name.
There was no thought of pleasing you when she was christened!
What stature is she of?
Just as high as my heart.
You're full of pretty answers. Have you not been acquainted with goldsmiths' wives and conned them out of rings?
Not so. I answer you right painted cloth from whence you studied your questions.
You have a nimble wit. I think 'twas made of Atalanta's heels. Will you sit down with me, and we two will rail against our mistress, the world, and all our misery?
I will chide no breather in this world, but myself, against whom I know most faults.
The worst fault you have is to be in love.
'Tis a fault I will not change for your best virtue. I'm weary of you.
By my troth, I was seeking for a fool when I found you.
He is but drowned in the brook. Look but in, and you'll see him.
There I shall see mine own figure.
Which I take to be either a fool or a cipher.
Bring no hunger with you. Farewell, good Signor Love.
I'm glad of your departure. Adieu, good Monsieur Melancholy.
Speak to him like a saucy lackey, and under that habit, play the knave with him.
Do you hear, Forrester?
Very well. What would you?
I pray you, what is the clock?
You should ask me what time of day it is. There's no clock in the forest.
Well, then there is no true lover in the forest, or else sighing every minute and groaning every hour would detect the lazy foot of time as well as the clock.
Why not the swift foot of time? Had not that been as proper?
By no means, sir. Time travels in diverse paces with diverse persons. I could tell you who time trots withal, who time ambles withal, who time gallops withal, and who time stands still withal.
I prithee, who does time trot withal?
Marry, time trots hard with a young maid from the contract of her marriage to the day it is solemnized. If the interim be but a sennight, time's pace is so hard it seemed the length of 7 years.
Who ambles time withal?
With a priest that lacks Latin, and a rich man that hath not the gout. For the one man sleeps easily because he cannot study, and the other lives merrily because he feels no pain. With one lacking the burden of a lean and wasteful learning, and the other knowing no burden of heavy, tedious penury. These time ambles withal.
Who does time gallop withal?
With a thief to the gallows. For though he go as softly as his foot may fall, he thinks himself too soon there.
Who stays it still withal?
With lawyers in the vacation. For they sleep between term, and then they perceive not how time moves.
Where dwell you, pretty youth?
With this shepherdess, my sister, here in the skirts of the forest, like a fringe on a petticoat.
Are you native of this place?
As the coney that you see dwell where she is kindled.
Your accent. Something finer that can be purchased in so removed a dwelling.
I've been told so of many. But indeed, an old religious uncle of mine taught me to speak, which he himself was an inland man and knew courtship too well, for there he fell in love. I have heard him read many lectures against it, and I thank God I am not a woman, to be touched with all the giddy offenses he hath generally taxed their whole sex withal.
Can you tell me some of the principal evils he has laid to the charge of women?
There were none principal. Everyone like the other, each fault seeming monstrous till his fellow fault came to match it.
I prithee, recount some of them.
No. I will not cast away my physic but on those that are sick. There is a young man haunts this forest, abusing our young plants with carving Rosalind on their barks, hanging odes on hawthorns and elegies on brambles, all forsooth deifying the name Rosalind. If I could meet that fancy monger, I could give him good counsel, for he seems to have a quotidian of love upon him.
I am he that is so love-stricken. I pray you, tell me your remedy.
You have none of my uncle's marks upon you. He taught me to know a man in love, in which cage of rushes I am sure you are not prisoner.
What were his marks?
A lean cheek, which you have not. A blue eye, and sunken, which you have not. An unquestionable spirit, which you have not. A beard neglected, which you have not. But I will pardon you for that, for merely being in beard is a younger brother's revenue. Then your hose should be ungartered and your bonnet unbanded, your sleeve unbuttoned and your shoes untied, and everything about you demonstrating a careless desolation. But you are no such man. You are rather point device in your accoutrement, a seeming lover of yourself than lover of another.
Fair youth, I would I could make you believe I love.
me believe it? You may as soon make the one you love believe it, which I warrant she is apter to do than to confess she does. For that is one of the points in which women still give lies to their consciences. But in good sooth, are you he that hangs the verses on the trees wherein Rosalind is so admired?
I swear to thee by the white hand of Rosalind, I am not he, that unfortunate he.
But are you so in love as your rhymes speak?
Neither rhyme nor reason can express how much.
Love is merely a madness, and I tell you deserves as much a dark house and a whip as madmen do. And the reason they are not so punished and cured is that the lunacy is so ordinary that the whippers are in love too. Yet I profess curing it by counsel.
Didst thou ever cure any so?
Yes, one. And in this manner. He was to imagine me his love, his mistress, and I set him every day to woo me. That would I, being a moonish youth, would grieve, be effeminate, changeable, longing and liking, full of tears, full of sighs, for every passion nothing, and for no passion truly anything, would now like him, then loathe him, then entertain him, then forswear him, then weep for him, then spit at him. Then I drove my lover from his mad humor of love into a living humor of madness, which was to forswear the full stream of the world and to live in a nook, merely monastic. And thus I cured him. And so shall I take it upon myself to wash your liver as clean as a sound sheep's heart, that there may not be one spot of love in it.
I would not be so cured.
I would cure you if you would but call me Rosalind, and come every day to my coat and woo me.
Now, by my heart, I will. Tell me where it is.
Come with me and I'll show it to you. And by the way, you will show me where in the forest you live. Will you go?
With all my heart, good youth.
Nay. You must call me Rosalind. Come, sister. Will you go?
Come apace, Audrey. I will fetch up your goats, Audrey. And how, Audrey? Am I the man yet? Doth my simple feature content you?
Your feature? Warrant us what feature?
Why, I am here with thee, and thy goats, as the most capricious poet, honest Ovid, was among the goats.
Oh, knowledge, ill-inhabited worse than Jove in a thatched house.
And a man's verses cannot be understood, nor a man's good wit seconded by the forward child understanding. Strikes a man more dead than a great reckoning in a little room. Truly, I would the gods had made thee poetical.
I do not know what poetical is. Is it honest in word and deed? Is it a true thing?
No, truly, for the truest poetry is the most feigning. And lovers are given to poetry, and what they swear to in poetry, it may be said, as lovers, they do feign.
So, do you wish then that the gods had made me poetical?
Oh, yes, truly, for thou swearest to me that thou art honest. Now, if thou wert a poet, I might have some hope that thou didst feign.
But would you not have me honest?
Yes, truly, no, truly, unless thou wert hard-favored. For honesty coupled to beauty is to have honey a sauce to sugar.
Oh, material fool!
Oh, so I am not fair, therefore I pray the gods make me honest.
Yes, and to throw away honesty upon a foul slut is to put good meat into an unclean dish.
I am not a slut! Though, I thank the gods I am foul.
Well, praised be the gods for thy foulness. Sluttishness may come hereafter. But be it as it may be, I will marry thee. And to that end I have been with Sir Oliver Martex, the vicar of the next village. And he hath agreed to meet me here in this place of the forest, and to couple us.
Oh, I would fain see this meeting.
Will the gods give us joy?
Amen. A man may, if he were of a fearful heart, stagger in this attempt. For here we have no temple but the forest, no assemblage but the horn beasts. But what though? Cottage. As horns are odious, they are necessary. It is said, many a man knows no end of his own goods. Right. Many a man has good horns and knows no end of them. But that is the dowry of his wife, 'tis none of his own getting. Horns, e'en so. Horsemen alone? No, no. The noblest deer has them as huge as the rascal. Are single men therefore blessed? No. As the walled town is more worthier than the village, so is the forehead of the married man more honorable than the brow of the bachelor. And by how much more is defense better than no skill? By so much more is a horn better than to want. Ah, here comes Sir Oliver. Sir Oliver Martex, you are well met, sir. Ah, will you dispatch us here under this tree, or shall we go with you to your chapel?
Is there none here to give the woman?
I will not take on gift of any man.
Truly she must be given, or the marriage is not lawful.
Oh, proceed! Proceed! I'll give her.
Oh.
Good evening, good master. What do you call it? How do you do, sir? God healed you for your last company. You are well met. I am very glad to see you in toy in hand. Nay, pray, be covered.
Will you be married, Motley?
As the ox hath his bow, the horse her curb, and the falcon her bells, so man hath his desires. And as pigeons bill, so wedlock would be nibbling.
And will you, being a man of your breeding, be married under a bush like a beggar? Get you to church, and have a good priest that can tell you what marriage is. This fellow will but join you together as they join wainscot. And then one of you will prove a shrunk panel, and like green timber, warp.
I am not in a mind, but I were better to be married of him than of another. For he is not like to marry me well, and not being well married, it will be a good excuse for me hereafter to, leave my wife.
Go thou with me, and let me counsel thee.
Come, Audrey! We must be married, or we must live in bawdry. And farewell, good Sir Oliver. Not, oh, brave Oliver, oh, sweet Oliver, leave me not behind thee, but wind away. Be gone, I say. I will not to wedding with thee.
Yeah, 'tis no matter. There ain't no such fantastical knave shall flout me from my calling. Martex out.
Never talk to me. I'll weep.
Do, I prithee, yet have the grace to consider that tears do not become a man.
But have I not cause to weep?
As good a cause as one would desire, therefore weep.
His hair is of a very dissembling color.
Something rather than Judas's. Mary, his kisses are Judas's own children.
Nay, but his hair is of a very good color.
An excellent color. Your chestnut was ever the only color.
And his kiss, so full of sanctity as the touch of holy bread.
He had bought himself a pair of cast lips of Diana. A nun of Winter's sisterhood kisses not more religiously. The very ice of chastity is in them.
But why did he say he would come this morning and comes not?
Nay, certainly there is no truth in him.
Do you think so?
Yes. I think he is not a pick person nor a horse dealer. But for his verity in love, I do believe him as concave as a covered goblet or a worm-eaten nut.
Not true in love?
Yes, when he is in. But I think he is not in.
You heard him swear downright he was.
Was is not is. The oath of a lover is no stronger than the word of a tapster. They are both the confirmer of false reckonings. He attends here in the forest on the Duke your father.
I saw the Duke yesterday, and had much question with him. He asked me what parentage I was, and I said of as good as he. So he laughed and let me go. Oh, but what talk we of fathers when there's such a man as Orlando?
Oh, that's a brave man. He writes brave verses, speaks brave words, swears brave oaths, then breaks them bravely. Points her verse athwart the heart of his lover, as a puny tilter that spurs his horse put on one side, breaks his staff like a noble goose. But all's brave that youth mounts and folly guides. Look who comes here.
Mistress and master. You have oft asked after the young shepherd that had complained of love.
Well, and what of him?
If you would see a pageant truly played between the complexion of true love and the red scorn of proud disdain, go with me, and I will conduct you if you will see it.
Come, let us remove. The sight of lovers feedeth those in love. Bring us this sight, and you'll say I'll prove a busy actor in their play.
Banished! You are now all banished! For 15 minutes while we have intermission! Banished, all of you! But please come back. Gaspipe Theater Company is a not-for-profit organization, so we'll be passing the hat if you could please donate. Thank you very much. Banished! Banished, all of you!
Sweet Phoebe, do not scorn me, do not, Phoebe. Say that you love me not, but say not so in bitterness. The common executioner, whose heart the accustomed sight of death makes hard, falls not the axe upon the humbled neck, first begs pardon. Will you sterner be than he who dies and lives by bloody drop?
I would not be thy executioner. I fly thee, for I would not injure thee. Thou tellest me there is murder in mine eye. 'Tis pretty sure and very probable that eyes that are the frailest and softest things, who shut their coward gates on atomies, should be called tyrants, butchers, murderers. Now, I do frown on thee with all my heart. And if mine eyes can wound, now let them kill thee. Now, counterfeit to swoon. Lie now, fall down. And if thou canst not, oh, for shame, lie not to say mine eyes are murderers. Now, show the wound mine eye hath made in thee. Scratch thee but with a pin, and there remains some scar of it. Lean but upon a rush, the cicatrice incapable in pressure thy palm some moment keeps. But now, mine eyes, which I have darted at thee, hurt thee not, nor I am sure there is no force in eyes that can do hurt.
Oh, gentle, if ever, as that ever may be near, you find in some fresh cheek the power of offense, then shall you know the wounds invisible that love's keen arrows make.
But till that time, come not thou near me. And when that time comes, afflict me with thy mocks. Pity me not, as till that time I shall not pity thee. And why, I pray you? Who might be your mother that you exalt, and all at once over the record? Oh, I see no more beauty in you than without a candle may go dark to bed. Must you therefore be proud and pitiless? Amazing. Why do you look on me? I see no more in you than the ordinary of nature's sail work. As my little life, I think she means to tangle my eyes too. No faith, proud mistress, hope not after it. It's not your inky brow, your black silk hair, your bugle eyeballs, nor your cheek of cream that can attain my spirits to your worship. You foolish shepherd! Wherefore do you follow her? Like puffing south with wind and rain. You are 1,000 times a proper man to see a woman. 'Tis such fools as you that make the world full of ill-favored children. Thank heaven, fasting for a good man's love. For I must tell you frankly in your ear. So when you can, you are not for all market. Try the man mercy. Love him. Take his offer. Foul is most foul, it is foul to be a scoffer. So take her to thee, shepherd. Farewell. Sweet youth,
I tell you, chide a year together. I'd rather hear you chide than this man woo.
He'll fall in love with your foulness, and she'll fall in love with my anger? If this be true, as soon as she answers him with frowning looks, I'll sauce her with bitter words. Why look you so upon me?
For no ill will I bear you.
I pray you, do not fall in love with me, for I am falser than vows made in wine. Besides, I like you not. Will you go, sister? Shepherd, ply her heart. Shepherdess, look on him better. For be not proud, for though all the world can see, none can be so abused in sight as he. Come, to our flock.
Dead shepherd, now I find thy saw of might. Whoever loved that loved not at first sight.
Sweet Phoebe.
Ha! What sayest thou, Silvius?
Sweet Phoebe, pity me.
Why, I am sorry for thee, gentle Silvius.
Wherever sorrow is, relief would be. If you do sorrow at my grief and love, by giving your love, your sorrow and my grief were both exterminated.
Thou hast my love, is not that neighborly?
But I would have you.
Why, that were covetousness. Silvius, the time was that I hated thee, and yet it is not that I bear thee love. But since that thou canst talk of love so well, thy company, which erst was irksome to me, I will endure, and I'll employ thee too. But look for no further recompense than thine own gladness that thou art employed.
So holy and so perfect is my love, and I in such a poverty of grace, I should think it a most plenteous crop to glean the broken ear after the man that the main harvest reaps. Loose now and then a scattered smile, and that I'll live upon.
Knowest thou the youth that spoke to me erewhile?
Not very well, but I've met him up, and he hath bought the house and bounds that the old harlot once was master of.
Think not I love him, though I ask for him. 'Tis but a peevish boy. Yet he talks well. But what care I for words? Though words do well when he that speaks them pleases those that hear. It is a pretty youth, not very pretty. But sure he's proud, and yet his pride becomes him. He'll make a proper man. Best thing in him is his complexion. Faster than his tongue did make offense, his eye did heal it up. He's not very tall, yet for his years, he's tall. His leg is but so-so, and yet 'tis well. There was a pretty redness in his lip, a little riper and more lusty red than that mixed in his cheek. 'Twas just the difference betwixt the constant red and mingled damask. There be some women, Silvius, had they marked him in parcels as I did, would have gone near to fall in love with him. But for my part, I love him not, nor hate him not, and yet
I have more cause to hate him than to love him.
For what did he do to chide at me? He said, mine eyes were black, my hair black. And now I am remembered, scorned at me. I marvel why I answered not again. But that's all one. Omittance is no quittance. I'll write to him a very taunting letter, and thou shalt bear it. Wilt thou, Sylvia?
Oh, Phoebe, with all my heart.
I'll write it straight. The matter's in my head and in my heart. I'll be bitter with him in passing short. Go with me, Sylvia.
My pretty youth. Let me be better acquainted with thee.
They say you are a melancholy fellow.
I am so, I do love it better than laughing.
Those that are in extremity of both are abominable fellows, and betray themselves to every modern censure. Worse than drunkards.
Well, 'tis good to be sad and say nothing.
Why then, 'tis good to be a post.
I am neither melancholy. I have neither the melancholy of a scholar, which is emulation, nor the musician, which is fantastical, nor the courtier, which is proud, nor the soldier, which is, ambitious, nor the lawyers, which is politic, nor the ladies, which is nice, nor the lovers, which is all of these. But 'tis a melancholy of mine own, compounded of many simples, extracted from many objects, and indeed the sundries contemplation of my travels, in which my often rumination wraps me in a most humorous sadness.
Traveler, by my faith, you have great reason to be sad. I fear you have sold your own lands and seen other lands. Then to have seen so much and to have nothing is to have rich eyes and poor hands.
Yes, I have gained my experience.
And your experience makes you sad.
Oh.
I would rather have a fool make me merry than experience to make me sad. And to travel for it, too.
Good day and happiness, fair Rosalind.
Nathan, God be with you, and you talk in blank verse.
Farewell, traveler. Look you lisp and wear strange and disable all the benefits of your own country. Why, how now, Orlando? Where have you been all this while? You a lover. And you serve me such another trick. Never come in my sight more.
My fair Rosalind, I come within an hour of my promise.
Break an hour's promise in love? He that breaks a minute into 1,000 parts and breaks but a part of the 1,000th part of a minute? Why, Cupid may say has clapped him over the shoulder, but I'll warrant him heart whole.
Pardon me, dear Rosalind.
Nay, and you be so tardy. Come no more in my sight. I would as lief be wooed of a snail.
Of a snail?
Aye, of a snail. For, though he comes slowly, he brings his house on his head. A better jointure, I think, than you, maid woman. Besides, he brings his destiny with him.
What's that?
Why, horns, which such as you are fain to be beholding to your wives for. He comes armed in his fortune to prevent the slander of his wife.
Virtue is no horn maker. My Rosalind is virtuous.
And I am your Rosalind.
It pleases him to call you so, but he hath a Rosalind of a better leer than you.
Come, woo me. Woo me, for now I am in a holiday humor and like enough to consent. Tell me, what would you say to me now, and I were your very, very Rosalind?
I would kiss before I spoke.
You had better speak first. And when you have gravelled for lack of matter, you may take occasion to this. Very great orators, when they are out, will spit. And for lovers lacking God warn us matter, the cleanliest shift is to kiss.
How if the kiss be denied?
Then she puts you to entreaty, and there begins the matter.
Who could be out being before his beloved mistress?
That should you if I were your mistress, or should think my honesty ranker than my wit.
What, of my suit?
Not out of your apparel, yet out of your suit. Am I not your Rosalind?
I'd take some joy to say you are, because then I'd be talking of her.
Well, then in her person, I say I will not have you.
Then in mine own person I die.
No, Faith. Die by attorney. The world is almost 6,000 years old, and in all this time there was never a man died in his own person, vittleness in a love cause. Troilus had his brains dashed out with a Grecian club, yet he did what he could to die before, and he is one of the very patterns of love. Men have died from time to time, and worms have eaten them, but not from love.
I pray my right Rosalind be not of this mind. I protest her frown might kill me.
By this hand, it will not kill fly. But come, I will be your Rosalind in a more coming-on disposition. Ask me what you will. I will grant you.
Then love me, Rosalind.
Yes, Faith, will I. Fridays and Saturdays and all.
Wilt thou have me?
I, and 20 such.
What sayest thou?
Are you not good?
I hope so.
Well then, can one desire too much of a good thing? Come, sister. You shall be the priest and marry us. Give me your hand, Orlando. What say you, sister?
Pray thee, marry us.
I cannot say the words.
You will begin, will you, Orlando?
Go to. Will you, Orlando, have to wife this Rosalind?
I will.
I but when?
And now, as fast as you can marry us.
Then you must say, I take thee, Rosalind, for wife.
I take thee, Rosalind, for wife.
I would ask you your permission, but I do take thee, Orlando, for my husband. There goes a girl before the priest, and surely a woman's thoughts run before her actions.
So do all thoughts, they are winged.
Now tell me, how long can you have her once you have possessed her?
Forever and a day.
Say a day without the other. No, no, Orlando. Men are April when they woo, December when they wed. Maids are May when they are when they are wise. There is more power to do than a barbarous custom in others, and more clamor than a parent.
no less religion than if thou were indeed my Rosalind. So adieu.
Or rather, bottomless. That as fast as you pour affection in, it runs out.
Nay, let Cupid be the judge of how deeply I am in love. I tell thee, Aliena, I cannot be out of the sight of Orlando. Shall go find a shadow, and sigh till he come.
I'll sleep.
Thy father's father wore it, and thy father bore it.
The horn, the lusty horn, is not a thing to laugh to scorn.
What say you now? Is it not past 2 o'clock? And here, much Orlando.
I warn you a pure love and a troubled rage. He hath taken his bow and arrows and has gone forth to sleep. Look who comes here.
My errand is to you, fair youth. My gentle Phoebe bid me give you this. I know not the contents, but as I guess by the stern brow and waspish action which she did use as she was writing of it, it bears an angry tenor.
Patience herself would startle at this letter, and play the swaggerer. Bear this, bear all. She says I am not fair, that I lack manners. She calls me proud, and that she could not love me were men as rare as phoenix. On my will, her love is not the hare that I do hunt. What means she by this? Well, shepherd, well, this is a letter of your own device.
No, I protest. I know not the contents. Phoebe did write it.
Come, come, you are a fool, and driven to the extremity of love. I saw her hand. She had a leathern hand. I say she never did write this letter. This is a man's invention, and his hand.
Sure, it is her hand.
'Tis a boisterous and a cruel style. Woman's gentle brain could not drop forth such giant rude invention. Will you hear the letter?
So please you, for I have never heard it yet, though heard too much of Phoebe's cruelty.
She Phoebe's me. Mark how the tyrant writes. Art thou God to shepherd turned, that maiden's heart hath burned? Can a woman rail thus?
Call you this railing?
Why thy Godhead laid apart, wherest thou with a woman's heart? You ever hear such railing? Whilst the eye of man did woo me, that could do no vengeance to me, meaning me a beast, if the scorn of your bright eye have power to raise such love in mine, alack in me what strange effect would they work in mild aspect? Whilst you chide me, I did love. How then might your prayers move? He that brings this love to thee little knows this love in me. And by him seal up thy mind, whether that thy youth and kind will the faithful offer take of me and all that I can make, or else by him my love deny, and then I'll study how to die.
Call you this chiding?
last. Poor shepherd.
Do you pity him? No, he deserves no pity. Wilt thou love such a woman, to make an instrument of thee and play false strains upon you, not to be endured? Well, go your ways to her, for I see love hath made thee a tame snake, and tell her, if she love me, I charge her to love thee, and if she will not, then I will not have her, unless thou entreat for her. If you be a true lover, hence, and not another word, for here comes more company.
Good morrow, fair ones. Pray you, if you know, where in the purlieus of this forest can I find a sheepcote fenced about with olive trees?
West of this place, down in the neighbor bottom. The rank of oceans by the murmuring stream. Left on your right hand brings you to this place. But at this hour the house doth keep itself. There is none within.
If I may profit by tongue, I should know you two by description. Such garments and such years. The boy is fair, of female favor, and bestows himself like a right sister. The woman low and browner than her brother. Are you two not the owners of the house that I did inquire for?
It is no boast being asked to say we are.
Orlando bestows himself upon you both, and to the young youth he calls his Rosalind, he doth give this bloody napkin. Are you he?
I am. What are we to understand by this?
Some of my shame, if you are to know me, as to how and when and where that handkerchief will stand.
I pray you tell it.
When last the young Orlando parted ways from you, he gave promise to return again within the hour, and thus, pacing through the forest, eating the sweet and bitter fruit of fancy, lo, what befell! He cast his eyes aside, and under an oak tree, whose boughs were mossed with age and high-top bald with dry antiquity, he saw a wretched, ragged man, overgrown with hair, lay sleeping. Around the man's neck, a green and gilded snake had wreathed itself, head nimble with threads, posing in on the opening of his mouth. But upon seeing Orlando, it unlinked itself, and with indented claws slid back underneath the bush. But in that bush's shade, a lioness, with udders drawn dry, head low to the ground in the cat-like stance, lay waiting for that sleeping man to stir, for it is that beast's royal disposition to prey on nothing that doth seem dead. Upon seeing this, Orlando approached, and found out that it was his brother, his elder brother.
Oh, I have heard him speak of that same brother, and he did render him the most unnatural that lived amongst men.
As well he should, for well I know he is unnatural.
But to Orlando, did he leave him there, food to the sucked and hungry lioness?
Twice he did purpose to do so. But kindness, nobler than revenge, and nature better than his just cause, gave him battle to the lioness, who quickly fell before him. And thus I hurtled from slumber.
Are you his brother?
Was it you he rescued?
Was you that did so oft contrive to kill him?
'Twas I, but not 'tis I. There's no shame in me telling you the thing I was, for so sweetly the convergence taste being the thing that I am.
But what of the bloody napkin?
By and by, when from first to last betwixt the two of us tears of recountenance had kindly bathed, as to how I came to be in such a desert place. In brief, he led me to the gentle Duke, who gave me fresh array and entertainment, and bestowed me onto my brother's love. My brother instantly led me to his cave, where he stripped himself, and upon his arm the lioness had torn away some flesh, which all the while had bled. He fainted, and in fainting cried out to his Rosalind. In brief, I bound his wound and recovered him, and he sent me hither, stranger as I am, that I may bestow that napkin unto his Rosalind.
Oh, wait, how now, Ganymede? Sweet Ganymede.
Many will swoon when they see blood.
There is more in it. Cousin Ganymede.
Look, he recovers.
I would I were at home.
We'll lead you thither. I pray you, will you take him by the arm?
Be of good cheer. You are a man. You lack a man's heart.
I do, I confess it. But, sir, a body would think this well counterfeited. I pray you, commend me to your brother how well I counterfeited.
This was no counterfeit. It is too great a testament in your complexion that this was the passion of earnest.
Counterfeit, I assure you.
Well then, counterfeit to be a man.
So I do. But I should have been a woman by right.
Come, you look paler and paler. Pray you draw homeward. Good sir, go with us.
That will I, to commend my answer back to my brother how you forgive him, Rosalind.
I will devise something, but I pray you, tell him how well I counterfeited. Will you go?
We shall find a time, Audrey. Patience, gentle Audrey.
Thanks! The purse was good enough for all the old gentleman's saying.
A most wicked Sir Oliver, Audrey, a most vile Martex. But Audrey, there is a youth here in the forest lays claim to you.
Aye, I know who 'tis. Oh, he hath no interest in me in the world. Oh, here comes the man you mean.
It is meat and drink to me to see a clown. By my troth, we that have good wits have much to answer for. We shall be flouting. We cannot hold.
Good evening, Audrey.
Good even, William.
And good evening to you, sir.
Good even, gentle friend. Cover thy head, nay, prithee, be covered. How old are you, friend?
25, sir.
A ripe age. Is thy name William?
William, sir.
A good name. Wast born in the forest here?
Aye, sir. I thank God.
Thank God, a good answer. Art rich?
Faith, sir. So-so.
So-so is good, very excellent good, and yet it is not. It is but so-so. Art thou wise?
Aye, sir. I have a pretty wit.
Why, thou sayest well. I do now remember a saying, the fool doth think he is wise, but the wise man knows himself to be a fool. The heathen philosopher, when he had desired to eat a grape, would open his lips to put it into his mouth, meaning thereby that grapes were to eat and lips to open. You do love this maid.
I do, sir.
Then give me thy hat. Art thou learned?
No, sir.
Then learn this of me. To have is to have. For it is a figure of rhetoric, that wine, being poured from a glass into a cup, by filling one, doth empty the other. Now all your writers do consent that Ipsy is he. Now you are not Ipsy, for I am he.
Which he, sir?
He that must marry this woman. Therefore, you clown, abandon, which is in the vulgar leave, the society, which in the boorish is company, of this female, which in the common is woman. Altogether, abandon the society of this female. Or, clown, thou perishest, or to thy better understanding, diest, or to wit, I kill thee, make thee away, translate thy life into death, thy liberty into bondage. I will deal in poison with thee, or in bastinado, or in steel. I will bandy thee with faction, I will o'errun thee with policy, I will kill thee 150 ways, therefore tremble, and depart.
Do good, William.
God rest you merry, sir.
Our master and mistress seek you. Come, away.
Trip, Audrey! I attend!
Is it possible that on so little acquaintance you should like her? That on seeing you should love her? And loving, woo. And wooing she should grant. And will you persevere to enjoy her?
Never call the giddiness of it into question. Just small acquaintance, her poverty, my sudden wooing, or her sudden consenting. But say with me that I love Eliana. Say with her that she loves me. Say with us both that we may enjoy each other. It'll be to your benefit. For all my fortunes and all the land that was old Sir Roland, I will bestow upon thee, and live and die here, shepherd.
You have my blessing. Let your wedding be tomorrow. I'll invite the Duke and all his contented followers. Go you and prepare Aliena, for here comes my Rosalind.
God save you, brother.
And you, fair sister.
Oh, Orlando, how it grieves me to see they wear their heart in a scarf.
It's my arm.
I thought your heart had been wounded with the claws of a lion.
Wounded it is, with the eyes of a lady.
your brother tell you how well I counterfeited the swoon when he showed me your handkerchief. 'Tis true, there was never anything so sudden as the clashing of two rams, or Caesar's Thessalical brag of I came, saw, and overcame. For no sooner did your brother and my sister meet, but they looked. No sooner looked, but they loved. No sooner loved, but they sighed. No sooner sighed, but they asked one another the reason. No sooner knew the reason, but they sought the remedy. And thus they built a stair to marriage, which they will climb incontinent, or else being continent before marriage. They will together. Clubs cannot part them.
The wedding shall be tomorrow. I've invited the Duke and all the followers. Oh, how bittersweet a thing it is, looking to happiness through another man's eyes. By so much the more tomorrow, I shall be at the height of my heart heaviness. By how much the more to see my brother having what he wishes for.
Then tomorrow I cannot serve your turn for Rosalind?
I can live no longer by thinking.
I'll weary you then, no longer with idle talking. Know this of me, for now I speak to some purpose, that I know you are a gentleman of good conceit. Believe then that I can do strange things. I have, since I were 3-year-old, conversed with a magician. Most profound in his art, yet not damnable. If you love Rosalind so near to the heart as your gesture cries, then when your brother marries Eliana, so you will marry her. I know into what straits of fortune she is driven, and it is not impossible to me, if it seem not inconvenient to you, that I set her before you tomorrow, human as she is, and in no danger.
Speakest thou in sober meanings?
By my life, which I do tender dearly, though I say I'm a magician. Therefore, bid you in your best array, and bid your friends, for if you will be married tomorrow, you will. And to Rosalind, if you will. Look you, here comes a lover of mine and a lover of hers.
You've done me much ungentleness to show the letter that I writ to you.
I care not if I have. It is my study to seem despiteful and ungentle to you. You are there followed by a faithful shepherd. Look upon him. Love him. He worships you.
Good shepherd, tell this youth what it is to love.
It is to be all made of sighs and tears. And so am I for Phoebe.
And I for Ganymede.
And I for Rosalind.
I for no woman.
It is to be all made of faith and service. And so am I for Phoebe.
And I for Ganymede.
And I for Rosalind.
I for no woman.
It is to be all made of fantasy, all made of passion, and all made of wishes, all adoration, duty and observance, all humbleness, all patience and impatience, all purity and all trial, all obedience. And so am I for Phoebe.
So am I for Ganymede.
And so am I for Rosalind.
And so am I for no woman.
If this be so, why blame you me to love you?
If this be so, why blame you me to love you?
If this be so, why blame you me to love you?
Why speaks you too? Why blame you me to love you?
For her that's not here, no doth not here.
No, I pray you no more of this. Just like the howling of Irish wolves at the moon. I will help you if I can. I would marry you if I could. Tomorrow, meet me here all together. I will marry you if ever I marry woman, and I will be married tomorrow. I will satisfy you if ever I satisfy man, and you shall be married tomorrow. I will content you if what pleases you contents you, and you shall be married tomorrow. As you love Rosalind, meet. As you love Phoebe, meet. And as I love no woman, I'll meet. Very well, I have left you your commands.
I'll not fail, as I live.
Nor I.
Nor I.
Today is the joyous day, Audrey. Today we shall be married.
Oh, I do desire it with all my heart. And I do hope it is no dishonorable desire to be a woman of the world. Oh, here come two of the banished Duke's lords.
Well met, honest gentlemen.
Oh, by my troth, well met. Come, join us, and a song.
It was a lover and a lass with a hey and a ho and a hey no no. We're over green cornfields it pass in the springtime, the only pretty ring time when the birds do sing hey ding ding a ding. Sweet lovers love the spring between the acres of the rye with a hey and a ho and a hey no no. Where pretty country folks would lie in the springtime, the only pretty ring time when the birds do sing hey ding ding a ding. Sweet lovers love the spring and therefore take the present time with a hey and a ho and a hey no no. When love is crowned with prime in the springtime, the only pretty ring time when the birds do sing hey ding ding a ding. Sweet lovers love the spring.
Truly, young sirs, though there was no great matter in the ditty, yet the note was very untunable.
What? No, you were deceived. She kept time. She lost not her time.
Oh, by my troth, yes. I consider it but time lost to hear such a foolish song. God buy you, sirs, and God mend your voices. Come, Audrey!
Oh.
Dost thou believe, Orlando, that the boy can do all this that he hath promised?
I sometimes do believe and sometimes do not. As those that fear they hope and know they fear.
Patience, once more, whilst our compact is urged. You say that if I bring your daughter to you, you will bestow her on Orlando here?
That would I, had I kingdoms to give with her.
And you say you will have her if I bring her?
That would I, were I of all kingdoms king.
You say you will marry me if I be willing?
That will I, should I die the hour after.
But if you do refuse to marry me, you'll bestow yourself on this faithful shepherd. So's the bargain. You say you will have her if she refuses me?
Though to have her and death were both one thing.
I have promised to make all these matters even. Keep your word, O Duke, that you will give your daughter. Keep yours, Orlando, that you will take his daughter. Keep your word that you will marry me, or else refusing me, marry this faithful shepherd. And keep your word, Silvius, that you will have her if she refuses me. From henceforth I go, to make all these doubts even.
I do remember in this shepherd boy some lively touches of my daughter's favor.
My good lord, the first time ever I saw her, methought he was a brother to your daughter. But, my good lord, this boy is forest-born, tutored in the rudiments of many desperate studies by his uncle, whom he reports to be a great magician, obscured in the circle of this forest.
There's sure another flood toward, and these couples are coming to the ark. Here comes a pair of very strange beasts that are all, in all tongues called fools.
Salutation and greeting to you all.
good my lord, bid this fellow welcome. He's that motley-minded gentleman I've so often met in the forest. He hath been a courtier, he swears.
If any man doubts that, let him put me to my purgation. I have trod a measure. I have flattered a lady. I have been politic with my friend, smooth with mine enemy. I have undone 3 tailors. I have had 4 quarrels, and like to a 4th one.
And how was that ta'en up?
Faith, we met and found the quarrel was upon the 7th cause.
How the 7th cause? Oh, good my lord, like this fellow.
I like him very well.
God yield you, sir, I desire you of the like. I press in here, sir, amongst the rest of the country copulatives, to swear and forswear, according as marriage binds and blood breaks. A poor virgin, sir, an ill-favoured thing, but mine own. A poor humour of mine, sir, to take that which no man else will. Honest charity dwells like a miser, sir, in a poor house, as your pearl in your foul oyster.
By my faith, he is very swift and sententious.
According to the fool's bolt in such dulcet diseases.
But how for the 7th cause? How did you find the quarrel on the 7th cause?
Upon a quarrel 7 times removed, bear your body more seeming, Audrey, as thus, sir. I did dislike the cut of a certain courtier's beard. He sent me word if I said his beard was not cut well, he was of the mind that it was. This is called the retort courteous. If again I said it was not well cut, he would say he cut it to please himself. This is called the quit modest. If again it was not well cut, he disabled my judgment. This is called the reply churlish. If again it was not well cut, he would say I spake not true. This is called the reproof valiant. If again it was not well cut, he would say I lie. This is called the countercheck quarrelsome. And so to the lie circumstantial and the lie direct.
And how oft did you say his beard was not well cut?
I durst go no further than the lie circumstantial, and he durst not give me the lie direct. And so he measured swords and fought.
Now, can you nominate, in order now, the degrees of the lie?
Oh, sir, we quarrel in print, by the book. As you have books for good manners, I will name you the degrees. The first, the retort courteous. The second, the quit modest. The third, the reply churlish. The fourth, the reproof valiant. The fifth, the countercheck quarrelsome. The sixth, the lie circumstantial. And the 7th, the lie direct. All these you may avoid, but the lie direct. And you may avoid that too, with an if. I knew when 7 justices could not take up the quarrel, and when the parties had met themselves, that one of them had thought but of an if. As if you said so, then I said so. And they shook hands and swore brothers. Your if is the only peacemaker. Much virtue in
This is not a rare fellow, my lord. He's as good at anything, and yet a fool.
He uses his folly like a stalking horse, and under the presentation of that he shoots his wit.
Then is there mirth in heaven when earthly things made even? Atone together. Good Duke, receive thy daughter. Hymen from heaven brought her, yea, brought her hither that thou mightst join her hand with his, whose heart within his bosom is.
To you I give myself, for I am yours. To you I give myself, for I am yours.
There be truth in sight, you are my daughter.
There be truth in sight. You are my Rosalind.
If sight and shape be true, why then, my love, adieu.
I will have no father if you be not he. I will have no husband if you be not he, nor ne'er wed woman if you be not she.
Peace ho, I bar confusion. 'Tis I must make conclusion of these most strange events. Here's 8 that must take hands to join in Hymen's bands, if truth holds true contents. You and you no cross shall part. You and you are heart in heart. You to his love must accord, or have a woman to your lord. And you are sure together, as the winter to foul weather. Whiles a wedlock hymn we sing, feed yourselves with questioning, that reason wonder may diminish, how thus we met and these things finish. Wedding is great Juno's crown, O blessed bond of board and bed. 'tis Hymen peoples every town. High wedlock then be honored. Honor, high honor, and renown to Hymen, god of every town.
My dear niece, welcome thou art to me. Even daughter welcome in no less degree.
I will not eat my word. Now thou art mine. Thy faith, my fancy, to thee doth combine.
Let me have audience for a word or two. I am the second son of old Sir Roland that bring these tidings to this fair assembly. Duke Frederick, hearing how that every day men of great worth resorted to this forest, addressed a mighty power which were on foot, in his own conduct purposely to take his brother here and put him to the sword. And to the skirts of this wild wood he came, where, meeting with an old religious man, after some question with him, was converted, both from his enterprise and the world. His crown bequeathing to his banished brother, and all their lands restored to them again that were with him exiled. This to be true, I do engage my life.
Welcome, young man. Thou offerest fairly to thy brother's words. To one, his lands withheld, and to the other, a land itself at large, a potent dukedom. First in this forest, let us do those ends which here were well begun and well begot. And after, every of this happy number that have endured shrewd days and nights with us shall share in the good of our returned fortune, according to the measure of their states. Meantime, forget this new-fallen dignity, and fall into our rustic revelry, play, music! And you, brides and bridegrooms all, with measure heaped in joy to the measures full.
Sir, by your patience, if I heard you rightly, the Duke hath put on a religious life and thrown into neglect the pompous court.
Yeah.
To him will I. Out of these convertites there is much matter to be heard and learned. You, to your former honor I bequeath. Your patience and your virtue well deserves it. You, to a love your true faith doth merit. You, to your land and love and great allies. You, to a long and well-deserved dead. And you to wrangling, for your loving voyage is but 2 months victual. So to your pleasures, I am for other than for dancing measures.
Stay, Jaques, stay.
Oh, to have no pastime I. What you would know, I'll have to know in your abandoned cave.
Proceed, proceed. We will begin these rites as we do trust elect, in true delights.
Not the fashion to see the lady the epilogue, but 'tis no more unhandsome than to see the lord the prologue. If it be true that good wine needs no ivy, 'tis also true that a good play needs no epilogue. Yet to good wine we do use good ivy, and good plays are proved the better by the help of good epilogues. What a case am I in then, that am neither a good epilogue, nor cannot insinuate myself to you on behalf of a good play? I am not furnished as a beggar, and therefore to beg would not become me. My way is to conjure you. I'll begin with the women. I charge you, O women, for the love that you bear men, to like as much of this play as please you. And I charge you, O men, for the love that you bear women, for I perceive by your simpering none of you hates them, that between you and the women the play may please. If I were a woman, I would kiss as many of you as had beards that pleased me, complexions that liked me, and breaths that I defied not. And I'm sure that as many of you as had good beards, and good faces, and sweet breaths will, for my kind offer,
When I make curtsy, bid farewell.
And Milton and the Lewisburg Hotel and Lewisburg, and to Stephen Eisenhower who set up the lights.